everyone, and welcome. This is Susan Lopresti, and you are listening to the Susan Lopresti Wellness Mind, Body, Soul podcast. My podcast is for midlife women who are noticing changes in the way they look and they feel, and they're just not happy with those changes, and they're looking for ways to reverse those changes and bring back some of their youthful look and also how they felt when they were younger. And I help women to stay proactive in maintaining good health. I give women the tools that are necessary to do just that. I discuss chronic illness that women are prone to as we age and all illnesses that come along with aging. It helps to be knowledgeable, at least I believe that it does, so that we could be proactive in maintaining good health. And today, I'm going to touch on a disease topic that is a very sensitive topic because it's about addiction, and in particular, alcoholism. I feel that it's a necessary discussion to have because it is a disease. And it needs to be talked about just like any other disease that I have spoken about so far. I believe for anyone out there listening to this episode, it's because you need to hear this message. I believe that you'll hear the message of exactly what you need to hear. So for you, I hope this adds value and comfort to you to know that you're not alone. There is plenty of help out there available to you. So whether you are the loved one of the alcoholic or the alcoholic yourself, I know how difficult this could be. And for the loved one of the alcoholic, it's so difficult because you're helpless to do anything about it. You are as powerless over the alcoholic as the alcoholic is powerless over alcohol. The only thing that you do have power over is reaching out and asking for help. It's a difficult topic because it's painful on so many levels, emotionally and physically for sure. You have to also look at the role that you play as part of the relationship with an alcoholic. Are you the spouse of an alcoholic, the parent, the child, the aunt, the uncle, the brother, the sister? Where do you fit in? And whoever you are, and wherever you fit into the alcoholic's life, know this: alcohol destroys lives, families, careers, finances, and health, just to name a few. But I am going to say it again. There is help out there. Please have some faith and get into a program so that you learn the tools necessary when dealing with your loved one in the most compassionate and loving way, while still learning how to create boundaries. My advice to anyone who drinks alcohol where it's creating a problem in your life is to quit. The people that I'm talking to here are not the occasional drinkers who get together with a friend or a group of friends for dinner every once in a while and has a glass of wine. No, not that person. That person is a responsible person who knows their limit and has an occasional cocktail to blow off some steam, kick back and relax every once in a while. It does not control their life. I'm talking to the person who is destroying their life and their health because alcohol has taken over their life, and therefore it's taken over their health as well. I have had a few experiences with alcoholism with people that I love. So I'm here to tell you that the characters change, but the story always stays the same. It's a story of self-destruction and the destruction of any relationship the alcoholic has with family, friends, and loved ones. It's not my first rodeo where I cared very deeply for someone who destroyed their health because of their addiction. And not only have they destroyed their health, but they also have destroyed their relationships with the people who they love the most and who love them the most. I'm here to tell you, alcoholism is an insidious disease. It's not one to be reckoned with because it will take you down along with everybody else around you. What I have witnessed so far in my own personal experience with alcoholism is that the person likely to become addicted is someone who is not very comfortable in their own skin to begin with. Having a few cocktails for them takes the edge off for this type of personality. The feeling of euphoria and loss of inhibitions may just be what that person needs in order to get comfortable in their own skin. So it goes from one drink a night or a week or a month. It doesn't matter, because the end result is that it's going to progress. It's almost a given that this disease will progress and it will take control of your life unless you do something about it. Your family will be concerned, and they may have already tried to approach you with their concerns, but you're going to have a million comebacks, answers, excuses, and just plain bullshit for every concern that they say they have for you. The funny thing about the bullshit is that the alcoholic truly believes the bullshit that they're handing out to people. And the sad thing about that bullshit is that no one that they are bullshitting to believes their line of shit. And why is that, you may wonder? I was one time sitting in an open AA meeting and someone was up speaking, and he said, "How do you know if an alcoholic is lying?" And he quickly responded, "The answer is if their lips are moving." Meaning every word out of their mouth should be considered a lie. Everyone in the meeting laughed hysterically except for me, because that was my realization that I had been lied to for many years. And even though deep down inside I knew I was being lied to, I didn't have the courage to come clean and face those facts, because once I did face the facts and the reality that this person in my life was an alcoholic and we were deeply in trouble, I knew that my whole world was going to be different. And I didn't know what that would look like. And it was scary, but I also knew that it had to be better than what I had. And you really have to come to terms with that before you can move forward and figure out what it is that you're going to do. Just like the alcoholic has to admit that they have a problem with alcohol before they can begin to heal, you have to see what part you are playing in that relationship. There is, on some level, a part that you also need to heal in yourself. I used to go to AA meetings to try to understand the mind of the alcoholic and why they chose alcohol over everything else. The people who love this person the most are the ones that suffer the most. I've seen it time and time again. Some people I know who had addiction problems have worked on themselves and have turned their lives around, but others were not that lucky. The ones who were not granted the gift of sobriety are the ones who have also, besides destroying their relationships with their loved ones, have quite possibly destroyed their careers, and many have lost something even more valuable and precious than all of that. And that is that they lost their gift of health, of good health. Alcohol is a drug, and some people have a reaction to alcohol that's different from others. An alcoholic is not able to just have one drink and call it a night. No, they have to continue drinking until they reach the point of delirium. Let's first discuss what effects your drinking, if you're the alcoholic, what your drinking is having on all those who love you, and probably you love them as well. Your family has tried everything they possibly thought would help. Unfortunately, if your family has not worked with a professional therapist or counselor who specializes in drug addiction or alcoholism, chances are what your family is doing, no matter how pure their intentions are, is not working. It's very frustrating to watch someone destroy their lives, their family, and their health because they cannot eradicate this hold that this addiction has over them. As the person who's watching your loved one destroy their lives, you feel helpless. You have tried talking, begging, pleading, crying, threatening to leave them, and any other crazy behavior that you can think of. The people closest to this person begin to become crazy in their own behavior as well. Basically, everyone becomes insane. That's why the first plan of attack is to get the family into a program for everyone. Counseling helps to understand the behavior of the alcoholic and to have compassion for them. And believe me, that's not as easy as it sounds, and that's something that you as the family member or loved one has to work on every single day. Think of the years of resentment that your family has for the alcoholic because they can't get their life together. To the alcoholic listening today, know this: we are worried about you. And when I say we, I'm talking about everyone who loves you. I am here to tell you that your loved ones are concerned for you because you are not allowing yourself to live your best life because your life is controlled by a drug. And in this case, the drug is alcohol. So here's what you're up against if you are a heavy hitter or a full-blown alcoholic whose life has unraveled, as well as the lives of everyone else who loves you and is connected to you. I know how easy it is for the alcoholic to blame their behavior on someone else. Actually, everyone else is usually to blame for everything. The alcoholic takes zero responsibility for their behavior. It's very frustrating, and you start believing that you are the crazy one. Again, that is why you need therapy or Al-Anon or any other type of support group that can provide guidance for interacting with the alcoholic. These groups show you how you could be enabling the person to continue to drink without knowing it. A family member may not realize that in the beginning, if they're helping them out, either financially or giving them a place to crash or supporting them in any other way where they are not allowing the alcoholic to take responsibility for their behavior and for their own lives. Because this family member or friend is the enabler, this person is the perfect partner for the alcoholic because the alcoholic needs to be in a relationship with an enabler because this person enables them to continue to drink by always picking up the pieces of the next disaster that the alcoholic has created in their life, which consequently affects all the people in the alcoholic's life. This dynamic of the disease is devastatingly difficult because this is where tough love comes in. Tough love feels very uncomfortable for a person who's a people pleaser. And most partners who are with alcoholics tend to be the enablers because they are the people pleasers. And that was me. I read a book once entitled The Gift by Edith Eger, E-G-E-R. It's a great book. And there was a line in the book that said, sometimes we have the need to be needed. We don't feel that we are functioning well if we're not rescuing people. But when you depend on being needed, you're likely to marry an alcoholic. And when I read that line in this book, it was like a kick in my stomach. I didn't realize it at the time when I was in a relationship with my ex, but both the alcoholic and the loved one dealing with them are in this relationship together, meaning they both have wounds that need to be healed and be at peace with. And you develop this relationship with this person so that you could meet your needs and learn your lessons needed to learn in this relationship. And the same goes for the alcoholic. For me, I guess, it was the need to be seen and to be needed. If you're dealing with an alcoholic, you know how much they're going to be needing you, because alcoholics always need someone to pick up the pieces of whatever ghastly situation they've created for themselves this time. And I say ghastly because where there's alcoholism, there's going to be a lot of drama. The process of healing from alcoholism needs to get healed on many different dimensions. I just talked about relationships that play such an important part in the disease. This topic really is a topic that I could talk about day and night, as I have so much personal experience with it firsthand. It was my experience, so please understand that I am not a counselor in this field, but I have lived it firsthand for so many years so that I feel qualified enough, unfortunately, qualified enough to speak about this topic very confidently. And I have helped some personal friends. I've never done this as a business. I've never taken money from anyone, but just friends and families that are struggling with the disease of alcoholism or addiction. I've talked with them. I have helped them. And based on my own personal experience, I was able to give them a lot to consider before they decided to leave. You know, I mean, a lot of people think that's the first option, but it's not. First of all, I always say to see your loved one as someone who's sick. That's the first thing that you need to do. You need to establish the fact that they're sick. You say, why can't they just stop drinking? It's not that easy. It took me a long time to understand that myself. It's not that easy. And with that thought process of seeing them as sick, and you'll find compassion for them, but also be sure you're not allowing them to cross boundaries with you. Most of the advice that I give is to get professional help from someone who specializes in addictions. So I really encourage that to anyone who comes to me and says, how did you handle this? I handled it with professionals. So that's important. You can't do this alone. And for those who struggle with partners who are addicted, and you know, you have these conflicting thoughts of loving them and enabling them, and where you draw the line of boundaries so that they're not taking advantage of you financially or any other way, which is very typical of an alcoholic because they're always broke and they're always asking for something. They always need a favor. There's always something that they want. And you need to learn to establish boundaries and feel comfortable saying, no, I cannot do that for you. That's out of the question. I cannot do that for you. Through therapy, you may come to the realization of quite possibly being the biggest hindrance for them to find sobriety by being that enabler. So you need to start looking at yourself and what's going on with you. So you need to get into therapy for yourself. Just based on my own personal experience, there is so much to unpack with this disease and how it affects the relationships of all your loved ones. And I could go on and on with this topic, but I will leave it here for now. If you feel that you would like more topics like this in the future, please leave me a comment. Let me know. I would be happy to create more about this topic because it was such a big part of my life for so many years. And I would like to be able to help others as well. But from here, I want to go on to talk about the effects of alcohol, that what it has on your physical health of the alcoholic. Let's discuss this overconsumption of alcohol on a consecutive basis and what it's doing to your health. The National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism says drinking too much on a single occasion or over time can take a serious toll on your health. According to the CDC, Alcohol and Public Health, they say over time, long-term excessive alcohol use can lead to the development of chronic diseases and other serious problems. There are clear patterns between alcohol consumption and the increased risk of certain types of cancer, such as head and neck cancer, including the oral cavity, and also liver cancer from continuing to drink. And also, besides those cancers, breast cancer studies have consistently found an increased risk of breast cancer in women with increasing alcohol intake. Women who consume about 1 drink per day have 5 to 9% higher chance of developing breast cancer than a woman who does not drink at all. Drinking increases your chances of colorectal cancer. It also contributes to high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, again, liver disease, and digestive problems. Now I want to go on and I want to look at the brain because alcohol interferes with the brain's communication pathways and can affect the way the brain looks and works. These disruptions can change mood and behavior and make it harder to think clearly and move with coordination. And anyone who has witnessed a drunk person sees them stumbling and falling down, and that's because the brain has been affected by the alcohol. And then the heart. Drinking a lot over a long period of time or too much on one single occasion can damage the heart, causing problems such as cardiomyopathy, which is the stretching and drooping of the heart muscle, arrhythmias or irregular heartbeat, stroke, high blood pressure. And again, let's look at the liver because the liver is extremely affected by alcohol. Heavy drinkers take a toll on the liver and can lead to a variety of problems and liver inflammations, including a fatty liver, alcoholic hepatitis, fibrosis, cirrhosis. I actually know several people in my own personal life who have had this illness due to drinking and had other liver problems as well. And some were luckier than others to survive. So it's a killer. It's not a joke. It will kill you. And then the pancreas is affected. Alcohol causes the pancreas to produce toxic substances that can eventually lead to pancreatitis, a dangerous inflammation and swelling of blood vessels in the pancreas that prevent proper digestion. Based on data from 2009, an estimated 3.5% of cancer deaths in the United States, about 19,500 deaths were alcohol related. And then also your immune system is affected. Drinking too much alcohol can weaken your immune system, making your body a much easier target for disease. Chronic drinkers are more liable to contract diseases like pneumonia and tuberculosis than people who do not drink too much. Drinking a lot on a single occasion slows your body's ability to ward off infections, even up to 24 hours after getting drunk. So those are long-term effects. Now I want to talk to you about what are some short-term effects of drinking. So excessive alcohol has immediate effects that increase the risk of many harmful health conditions. These are most often the result of binge drinking and include the following: injuries such as motor vehicle crashes, falls, drownings, burns, violence, including homicide, suicide, sexual assault, intimate partner violence, alcohol poisoning, a medical emergency that results from high blood alcohol levels, risky sexual behavior, including unprotected sex or sex with multiple partners. These behaviors can result in unintended pregnancy or sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV. Another risk is miscarriage and stillbirth or fetal alcohol spectrum disorder among pregnant women. So please, if you're pregnant, you should never be drinking. So as you can see, a moment in a lapse of better judgment because of alcohol can have a lifetime effect on you and your health, and also the ones that love you the most. Also, learning and memory problems, including dementia and poor school performance, mental health problems like depression and anxiety. By not drinking too much, you can reduce the risk of these short and long-term health risks. As you can see, drinking alcohol can really screw with you if you don't have a healthy relationship with it. You must become honest with yourself. If you feel that you struggle having a healthy relationship with alcohol, you need to really look at that. And what do I mean by a healthy relationship? I simply mean that you're capable of having one cocktail and not becoming obsessed with having the next. If you can't be that person, you will know that you don't have a healthy relationship with alcohol. You may not be able to admit it right away, but eventually it will begin to control your life. And you can guarantee that sooner or later, your world, as you currently know it, will fall apart if you don't get a handle on your drinking. There is so much help available out there, so many resources. You can't use the excuse that you can't afford it, because you could go to AA, NA, Al-Anon, Nar-Anon groups, Alateen, which is for teens struggling with family members who are alcoholics. There's so many 12-step programs are great, and they're great ways to begin to get the help that you need simply by just contributing a small donation to the cause. That's all it's going to cost you, $1 or $2 in a basket that they pass around. So alcoholism and addiction are very difficult for families to deal with. You would think it's as simple as the alcoholic just staying away from it, but it's not that easy. I pray for all those struggling to find sobriety, for the addict and for the family. Please reach out to me if you would like to talk to me about this. Unfortunately for me, I have many years of experience with the situation. And fortunately for me, I was able to move away from it, and my life has completely turned around when I changed my life by changing the people who no longer served me or brought me peace. If any of you would like to hear more on this topic, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. And if you think that this episode could help anyone that you know, I would so appreciate it if you could share it out to them, because it may be the message that they need to hear today to give them the encouragement to pick up the phone, make that call, Get help. Go online. Look for an Al-Anon meeting. Look for an Alateen meeting. Look for an AA meeting if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict. NA meeting. Thank you again so much for listening. I so appreciate each and every one of you. It is my pleasure to have you here. And until the next time, be well and stay happy. Bye for now.